Hi, my name is Anthony Pulvinelli, and I'm here today at Smail Motor Cars to show you the all-new 2018 Mercedes-Benz AMG E43. It's a really special car for us. Glad to see that it's finally here. Just such a cool all-around car. Gives you a lot of the excellent luxury that you expect in one of our E-Class vehicles, being in that sort of mid-size class, with the ultra performance that you expect from an AMG vehicle. This car is going to give you exceptional level of performance with a nice quiet ride. I think it's going to be an awesome vehicle for us to explore today. Let's go ahead and take a look. One of the first things that you notice when looking at one of the AMG vehicles is some of the styling. So something really sharp on every AMG model is what is the AMG line styling taken to the next level. So a couple things that you notice right off the bat is some of the elaborate detailings on the front grille. So a couple things that you're going to sort of explore in the front are these sort of twin air flicks in the front rear diffuser on the left and the right dam, as well as sort of a couple of sort of accent pieces in this particular car in the high gloss black finish, including on the three-dimensional grille across the single lamella front, which sort of runs right in line with the star. In addition to that, you'll also notice this does feature the diamond block grille. You'll notice that on several of our new coupe designs, very slick, sporty approach to it, including the AMG badge actually built into the lamella finish on the grille itself. Now, you heard me mention about the gloss black. So that's actually on this car because of the night package. So the night package styling, which is optional on several of our vehicles, you'll find a little more standard once you start getting to the 43, 63 models to give it more of a sporty approach. Also a unique feature to all the new E-Class models, the twin torch effect, fiber optic and LED headlamp design, pretty slick. Coming around to the side, a couple things that you notice is the AMG enhancements to the brakes. They let you in on that with the AMG detailing on the brake caliper, so you don't forget about that high performance brake system that you do have on this car, as well as the bi-turbo badge, which on the side will let you know that in addition to being a 4MATIC all-wheel drive, this vehicle does feature twin scroll turbochargers inside of the motor. Pretty slick. Another really neat exterior feature to this car are the wheels. So anytime you're looking at an AMG, whether it's an AMG Enhanced 43 or it is a purebred 63, you're going to get some special design wheels, including these 19-inch twin 5-spoke design, sort of a split 5-spoke with, once again, that night package black styling. Coming around to the back, the really cool Stardust effect tail lamps. Unfortunately, can't show them off to you too great right now with the sunlight, but please stop by. That way you can see them in person. They're just an awesome look to the exterior of the car. Something I'll do too, I'm going to go and pop the hood here for us. That way you can check underneath. Performance on this car is a big part of the game. So in addition to the AMG enhancements you have for things like the braking system, the suspension, the styling, things like that, best of all, under the hood, you're getting a lot of great AMG enhancements. So this vehicle features the same motor that is in our C43, enhanced to a higher level, being that this is an E-Class. So instead of the 362 horsepower and 384 pound-foot of torque, this one actually gives you another 34 horsepower, and it's tuned all the way up to 396. This is still the bi-turbo V6 that's been AMG enhanced with a AMG enhanced 9G Tronic transmission. So up from the old 7-speed on the past iteration E400 and whatnot, iterations from 17 and beyond. Let's go and take it for a spin. All right, so we are going for a ride in the 2018 E43 sedan. This is the AMG E43. Something that was done here in the last few years by Mercedes-Benz is they wanted to give an AMG experience to a lot of drivers that sort of weren't considering per se the 63 sort of track-ready race cars. Those being kind of the race car setup that you can get in the sport utilities, the sedans, the coupes, etc., that weren't maybe taking it to a racetrack, but wanted some of that performance while they were driving it on the roads. So what Mercedes did is they expanded the AMG portfolio to include the 43 models. So back in 2016, something that Mercedes had done was create the C450 sedan and the GLE 450 sport utility coupe. Now those vehicles, and then the following generation, became the C43 that we know now, the GLE 43, and so on. Something that Mercedes then wanted to do when they redesigned the E-Class for 2017 was also expand the portfolio with our midsize sedan as well as our midsize coupe and offer this vehicle in the E43 performance level. What's really, really nice is you're getting all the luxury, all the nice, quiet, soft, plush, both ride, the materials, everything that you sort of expect from one of the E-Class vehicles, but you're getting a whole different level of performance. This is that sort of ultra premium performance car for the person that wants that V8 type of power in a sedan that still can be quiet, that still can be comfortable. And what's great is you get better efficiency because you don't even need a V8 in this car. You got a bi-turbo V6, which produces a lot more power at a lot lower RPM than most V8s on the market, especially those that are naturally aspirated. So you're getting better performance out of a more efficient motor and therefore improving your fuel economy as well. The enhanced suspension really helps with the sort of the cracked, wintry Pennsylvania roads that we're driving on here. A lot of potholes, a lot of divots and sort of undulation in the road. Pretty hard to notice with the E-Class platform. This gets you right into that sort of 193-inch space where you have a large enough car that you have a long enough wheelbase where you don't feel a lot of what's going on underneath you, but at the same time you're still short enough to where it feels very easy to handle. You don't feel like you're really driving a big car, but it feels really spacious inside. I think Mercedes really hit it out of the park with the design inside, making the most use of space. This car feels a lot larger than previous generations just because of how the space was utilized. I think right off the bat you kind of noticed that being up front with the sort of the changes that they made to the waterfall console design of the lower portion here, which had stemmed out of our new generation C-Class. And then also too, they redesigned the front upper dash to sort of that new flowing lines language of the S-Class iterations. So they kind of got you that nice in-between of a lot of the nice new technology, but also too a lot of the nice space-saving design, which just makes the car a little more cozy feeling, feels a little more like you're, you know, kind of sitting at home and you just have a nice good bit of space, but you have everything at quick access. Controls when it comes to this car and ergonomics are super important. A couple of things that Mercedes did with the new E-Class to really give you a better command and a better feel of the car, in addition to naturally how we have our shifter up here in the upper right and a lot of your quick access controls for things like cruise control and wiper sensitivity over here on the left. You do feature on the steering wheel these new touch pads, which are becoming kind of at home now on our entire E-Class lineup as well as with our new S-Class lineup. And what's great is you can do everything on this car and you can keep your hands on the wheel. So it just gives you a nice command feel of the car, and it's also a lot safer. Mercedes really trying to find a way to incorporate a lot of great technology into these cars, but at the same time we're not trying to make it more of a distraction. So I think Benz is doing a great job with their design language in trying to make this extremely functional, but at the same time not a distraction of the driver. It's very easy to just control everything on these screens, from your rate of speed, to, you know, features such as your navigation, your radio settings, etc. A couple of cool things too, actually, here talking about the tech. Really one of the cool upgrades on the E43 is the addition of a second digital display. Now this is an option on the E300 and the E400 models, but coming standard on the E43, you get the added 12.3-inch LED digital display on the left, as well as the one that already comes on the right. A couple of slick things you can do too, in addition to being able to control, as you saw, some like the trip settings, you can also do a lot of really great stuff with even being able to pull up some like your navigation turn by turn, radio settings. Design feature is one of my favorites. You can actually even change the look of all the displays. So right now we're in classic, but with the flick of a switch here, notice we just totally changed the look of the gauges. There's this sport look, which gives you kind of a really slick sort of sports car look. The Progressive's pretty cool if you're trying to really watch fuel economy. It puts the fuel gauge kind of front and center for you, the tachometer, so you know how hard you're revving on the motor. A couple other really slick things too you can do is you actually now have the ability with this added display area to do a couple of adjustments in terms of what shows there. So you can actually kind of do some fine tuning on this in terms of how everything is viewed, how everything shows up. Even some really neat new performance features which only come on the AMGs. So you can see some real-time sort of G-forces working on the car. You can do lap times. I mean, it's pretty slick, and it's all right at the push of a button, and once again, without taking your hand off the wheel. Over here too, just kind of showing off some of the cool stuff you can do on the other gauge. It's pretty awesome. You can pull up a lot of the same stuff you do in the middle. I mean, I can pull up navigation, everything over here on the right side. Really awesome stuff. One of the first things I always hear from folks with the new E-Class is how much quieter they've gotten this cabin. Benz did a lot of nice things with how they changed both design-wise and when it came to sort of some of the insulation of the car, how much quieter this new cabin is. You really just don't hear much of anything. Unless you want to, which on this car could sometimes be a very good thing. We're actually on, kind of got us onto a little windy patch here where we could sort of see. Now that's a pretty good sound. It's easy to forget that a car that sounds this quiet and seems this smooth is a performance car. But you realize really quick when you put your foot on the accelerator that it definitely is. There is no backing off, no letting down when you try to get some pickup out of this motor. It's exceptionally quick response. And this 9-speed transmission is really awesome. If you haven't driven a vehicle with this new 9G-tronic transmission, you absolutely have to stop over and take one for a spin. It's really cool. It's making the cars more efficient, but I think it's also making them a lot more fun. So we're finding some great new safety innovations throughout the E-Class lineup. Several features that we've sort of talked about on past cars, from attention assist, pre-safe, the entire suite of the pre-safe options, the formerly known as collision prevention assist, now active brake assist system, your adaptive braking, your blind spot assist, your lane keeping, all those sorts of features still remain with several advancements along the way. Couple of things that are new, couple of cool new pre-safe innovations, including pre-safe sound that you'll find on several E-Class models. Can actually emit a pink noise in the event that there's a potential collision imminent to protect the hearing of those in the car, as well as an industry first in pre-safe impulse side, which can actually inflate an air bladder to the side of the seat and push the occupants closer to the center of the cabin in the event of an accident. Are all some pretty cool new safety innovations for a car that already receives best in class safety scores across the board. This was once again a IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus, and I think Mercedes is very proud of that. All right, so some of the really cool performance upgrades for the Mercedes-Benz AMG E43. Right off the bat, we have the Dynamic Select. We've talked about it a few times in the past. This is awesome control that lets you change the vehicle dynamics as you're driving. You notice a huge spectrum in terms of the steering stiffness, the shift points of the motor, especially on the AMG enhanced vehicles. You'll notice on all of our cars, so it gives you a really nice sort of sporty twist, kind of a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde effect of how the car drives, but that much more so on the 43s. And you really got a lot of power, and you have it at pretty much all RPMs. Something really slick that Mercedes AMG does with the tuning of their sort of sports car motors is they give you a lot of torque at a really low RPM. So actually below 2,000 RPM, which is pretty easy to get to. You barely put your foot on the pedal and you're there in a heartbeat on these cars. You're getting all the torque. So on this car, that's 384 pound-foot of torque, which is a lot. Having that much torque in a sedan that quick means your 0 to 60, your ability at passing speed sort of in that 50 to 70, 50 to 80 type realm. I mean, it's pretty exceptional how quick you can get this car up to speed. You barely have to do anything at all. Also make some enhancements to the 9G-tronic transmission that we've talked about so that it can sort of play a little nicer with the AMG enhanced motor, as well as some additional upgrades to the braking system, even to the suspension. So your suspension is very adjustable as well on these. In addition to the Dynamic Select controller, you have an individual switch which allows you to dial in one of 3 suspension levels to your driving preference. So if you want the car to feel a little more plush, a little more comfortable, quiet type riding, you can have the car lifted a little more like in the comfort mode, where still getting that sort of sporty exhaust note and that stiffer steering. Or you can kind of flip it inside out. You can get a real stiff, sort of tighter feel to the suspension, while maybe getting a looser feel to the steering and a quieter sounding motor. So it's a very customizable, very adaptable vehicle, really for the road or the track. I think that's what makes this probably one of the most versatile cars in our lineup, is whether you want to take it out on a weekend at, you know, a drag strip or a track and get some lap times, or you want to just take it out for a nice Sunday drive. You're going to find that this car can kind of adapt to whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. A lot of great new technology in the Mercedes-Benz E-Class has to do with our new Command NTG 5.5 system. Now, don't expect anyone to remember the name of this system, but I'll tell you what, it's about the coolest infotainment system that you can have integrating with a vehicle. What's really slick is all the integration appears for you right on the screen, but there's a lot of stuff going on when it comes to the controller and the touch pads on the wheel, sort of behind the scenes, that are making it nice and adaptable and easy for you to operate. Mercedes tried to design this system around a lot of the sort of gadgets and technology that most folks are using on a daily basis. Computers and smartphones and tablets and stuff like that. So here's the thought. If you like using a computer and you're used to using a mouse and sort of tracking your way around on a screen, Mercedes wanted to give you the nice big screen and this control wheel right here, which makes it really easy to move around, to adjust controls. You have physical buttons here, which feel very tactile, very user-friendly for you to be able to operate some of the options. If you're a big smartphone person and you like the idea of being able to sort of swipe your finger to be able to control things, sort of be able to get that sort of fine tuning on how you're controlling stuff in a small space, no problem. Mercedes has that for you with the touch pads on the steering wheel, where you can still do all the same controls, but in a smaller setting, a little more closer to home, right here with your hands on the wheel, being able to control everything from the in-car ambient lighting to the seat settings, even being able to dial in some customized settings for the dynamic select that we talked about. If you're a big tablet user and you like kind of somewhere in between where you're still kind of moving around on the screen, but you want that sort of larger, using like your full hand feel to the operation, no problem. We have a addition of the command controller here up from the central controller using this touchpad, where you can once again control everything using a combination of a push touch sensitive button and swipe gestures, once again to control everything from radio, navigation, vehicle settings, all at the touch of a button. Pretty slick. A couple of the really cool safety systems, such as the blind spot assist, collision assist, will give you a cross between a audible and a visual cue to kind of alert you and let you know your surroundings. So something that we tried just a moment ago with the blind spot assist, if your signal is on while somebody's in your blind spot, you'll get both the amber indicator light in your mirror as well as the sort of beep audible cue to let you know. Collision assist, the new active brake assist system, will also do something very similar. If it senses a potential collision being imminent, it'll warn you ahead of time. So let's say you kind of look down or you look away in any kind of a distracted driving situation, and you're approaching maybe the car in front of you a little fast, or somebody kind of jumped out in front of you on the road. What's nice is it's going to warn you ahead of time and give you an opportunity to react, and also too alerting you that, hey, if you don't react, the car is going to try to react for you and slow you down, or even bring you to a complete stop. Unfortunately, never have enough time in these videos to go over everything, but really like to inform you, show you all the cool stuff you can do with the cars. Really want you to feel comfortable with all the controls and everything you can do with some of these awesome automobiles here at Mercedes. So definitely, you know, stop by and give us an opportunity here at Bud Smail Motor Cars to show you the cars and show you what's so cool about them, and how they can give you kind of a different experience. Well, I am in need of a parking spot, and since I am in an E-Class, I think I will make the car find me one. What do you think? So we got this cool parking pilot system here, this active park assist, where I can let the car using radar, and look at that, it's already starting to find me some spots. Hey, what do you know, it found one. So let's tell it, yes, that is the spot I want. And it's gonna ask us, do I wanna pull in, do I wanna back in? I'm gonna go with, let's see, what should I do? I'll go ahead and back in. And all it wants me to do is just engage reverse gear. That's kind of my cue. And now the car is gonna do it for us. What's pretty slick is it can do the acceleration, the braking, the steering, even shift. So if it needs to, you know, pull out and do kind of an extra point of turn, it's no problem. It can pull out, it can back in, it can do all of it right now. So it's got control right now of the shifter, of the accelerator, or the brake pedal, everything. And at any point too, you can also take control, and if you see an opportunity to pull in, back in, change your space for parking, how far in you want to back in, how close you want to get to something, you can always take over as well. It's pretty awesome. That was our ride along in the all-new 2018 AMG E43. Thank you so much for joining us today to take a look at this awesome vehicle. Have several available here at Smail Mercedes-Benz. You deserve an awesome car shopping experience, so stop by here at our showroom around Route 30 in Greensburg, or visit us on the web in the meantime at smailmercedesbenz.com.